Hey there, fellow Redditors. I want to share a story with you that has been a real roller coaster for me. 5 years ago, my world was turned upside down when tragedy struck. A fire took away my dad and my two brothers. It was the most traumatic experience of my life, and it felt like my whole world was crumbling. After the fire, I was left to pick up the pieces and find a way to heal. Let me tell you, it hasn't been easy. But with the help of therapy and the unwavering love and support of my grandma, I've managed to find some solace. They've been my rocks, guiding me through the darkest of times. Now, fast forward to the present day. Just when I thought things were settling down, my mom drops a bomb on me. She's getting married again. Can you believe it? I had no idea she was seeing someone. And now she's introducing this guy as my stepdad. I have mixed emotions about this whole situation. On one hand, I want my mom to find happiness after everything we've been through. She deserves it, right? But on the other hand, it's tough to wrap my head around the idea of her moving on so quickly. The wounds from the fire are still fresh, and it's hard to imagine starting a new chapter without my dad and brothers. I was doing my best to navigate this new reality. It's like learning to ride a bike all over again, but this time with a whole new set of wheels. I was trying to keep an open mind and give this new guy a chance, even though it's not always easy. But things that happened next, one after the other, made me very bitter towards my mom. She got pregnant with twins. Yep, you heard that right. They found out that they will be having twin boys. But here's where things get complicated. When my mom and stepdad announced that they wanted to name the twins after my deceased brothers, I was taken aback. I mean, seriously? It's still so fresh and traumatic for me. And I couldn't fathom having two new family members walking around with the same names as my brothers. It felt like a cruel twist of fate. Don't get me wrong, I understand that my mom and stepdad may see it as a way to honor my brother's memory. I get that. But for me, it's a constant reminder of the pain and loss I've been through. It's like reopening old wounds, and I just can't bear the thought of it. I had to gather the courage to speak up and share my feelings with my mom and stepdad. It wasn't an easy conversation, let me tell you. I was nervous, anxious, and afraid of how they would react. But I knew deep down that I couldn't keep my emotions bottled up any longer. With a shaky voice and tears welling up in my eyes, I explained to them the immense pain it would cause me to have my brothers' names used for the twins. I poured my heart out, expressing how important it was for me to keep my brother's memories sacred and separate from this new chapter in our lives. Well, when I spoke up and told them that it wasn't cool to use my brother's names like that, they went ballistic. They got all mad and started saying things like, "If you've got so many issues, maybe it's time for you to move out." Can you believe it? Like, seriously? I was shocked and hurt. But hey, I wasn't about to let them walk all over me. I had to remind my mom that the house we were living in actually belongs to me. Yeah, you heard that right. My dad made it super clear in his will, so I laid down the facts and told her, "Look, this is my place and you better remember that before pulling any more stunts." I wasn't going to take their toxicity anymore. I needed to prioritize my mental health and create a safe space for myself. So I gave them an ultimatum: find a new place within 2 weeks. It was time to take control and set new, serious boundaries. I won't lie, it's been tough. Emotions have been all over the place. On one hand, I feel relieved knowing I'm standing up for myself and my well being. But on the other hand, it's also sad to see how things have come to this point. Family drama can be a real roller coaster, you know. AITA for asking them to move out. Update 1. Hey fam, update time on the family front. So, remember when I gave my mom and stepdad the ultimatum to find a new place? Well, things got even more intense. Buckle up for this one. After I dropped the bombshell and told my mom that she had to find a new place, she was desperate. She came begging and pleading, saying she couldn't imagine leaving and that she'd do anything to stay. But here's the thing, guys. She just doesn't get it. I had to put my foot down and make it clear that I wasn't going to let her stay. Why? Because she has shown zero regards for my feelings. It's like she forgot that I lost my dad and two older brothers in that horrific fire 5 years ago. That trauma is still fresh, and she wants to name my half brothers after them. Not cool, Mom. Not cool at all. I told her straight up that I couldn't let her actions go unchecked. It's about respect, you know? I've worked so hard to heal and find my footing again, and I won't let her sweep my emotions under the rug. I deserve better than that. We all do. I know some of you might be thinking, wow, that's harsh. But trust me, it's not easy for me either. I love my mom, but love isn't enough when it comes to setting boundaries and demanding respect. It's a tough lesson, but an important one. So for now, she's out there searching for a new place to call home. I hope this whole situation serves as a wake-up call for her. We all make mistakes, but it's how we learn and grow from them that really counts. I'm sharing this update with you all because I know some of you might be going through similar struggles with your families. Remember, you have the right to stand up for yourself and demand respect. It's not selfish, it's self-care. I'll keep you posted on what happens next. In the meantime, if any of you have gone through similar experiences or have advice to share, hit me up. We're in this together, navigating the messy waters of family dynamics. Stay strong and keep those boundaries intact. Update 2. A whole week later, they hadn't found anything that fits their budget. Can you believe it? Talk about karma. So, in her desperate search for a solution, my mom decides to turn to my grandma for support. You know, the same grandma who raised me and has always been there for me? Well, let me tell you guys, that backfired big time. When Grandma found out about the whole situation, she didn't hold back. She straight up blamed my mom for never taking care of me as her own daughter. Ouch. Grandma knows the real deal and she isn't afraid to call it out. I have to admit, it was kind of a bittersweet moment. On the other hand, I felt validated. Finally, someone was recognizing all the ways my mom had let me down over the years. It's like Grandma saw straight through her facade and wasn't afraid to speak up. But on the other hand, it was also a reminder of the pain and disappointment I felt because of my mom's actions or lack thereof. It stings, you know? It's a mix of emotions, like a roller coaster ride that won't let up. The whole situation is definitely messy, and I can't say I'm enjoying it. But deep down, I know that Grandma has my back. She's always been my rock, the one who has truly been there for me when I needed it the most. I'm grateful for her unwavering support. As for my mom, well, she's still scrambling to find a solution. I can't help but feel a tinge of sympathy for her, but at the same time, I can't let her off the hook. She needs to face the consequences of her actions and learn from this experience. So guys, that's the latest update on the family front. It's messy, it's complicated, but hey, what family isn't? We're all just trying to navigate this crazy thing called life. And as always, I'm grateful to have you all here to share the ups and downs with me. Update 3. Hey fam, time for another update on the never-ending family drama. So here's the deal. My mom still hasn't managed to find a new place to live, and as much as I want her out of my space, I couldn't bring myself to kick her to the curb just yet. Yeah, I have a heart. What can I say? I decided to extend her stay for another month, but I made it crystal clear that this was her last chance. After that, the cops will be getting involved. Yeah, it sounds harsh, but I gotta protect my sanity, you know? But here's the twist. I came up with a possible solution that might work for both of us. I suggested to my mom that she takes the entire first floor of the house and pays rent directly to me. It's like a win-win situation. I get some much needed space and independence, and she gets to stay under certain conditions. Sounds reasonable, right? We're still in the negotiation phase, so I'm not sure how it'll all pan out. But hey, at least we're trying to find a middle ground. It's all about compromise and finding a way to coexist without tearing each other's hair out. To be honest, I'm not entirely thrilled about this arrangement. I'd much rather have my own place and be free from all this family drama. But life doesn't always give us what we want, and sometimes we have to make the best of the situation we're in. Well, folks, that's all I have for this venting session. Thanks for being my virtual sounding board and letting me get all this off my chest. It means a lot to have a community of understanding peeps like you. Until the next update, take care, peace out. NTA, but I have mixed feelings. Like, I understand your frustration about naming the kids understandable, but deciding to kick out your mom might be a little too harsh. But again, your family dynamics are quite complicated. I feel like this rent thing is the best thing you guys could do. Like, legit. Make sure to do all that agreement papers thing and all. NTA, and your grandma reminds me of mine. Glad that you guys could solve this drama. Look, I think it would be quite nice if you get an opportunity to be a part of your little brother's life because, well, what did they do, right? I don't know what your dynamics are with your stepdad, but if this is causing mental stress, you should stay away. Next story. My oldest son, 24, is not my wife's biological child and is my child with my late wife. My late wife and I bought a 3-bedroom house when we got married. When I remarried, my current wife moved into this house with me, but I never put her name on the deed. The house was only in my name. My wife and I ended up having several children and needing to move into a bigger house. When we bought our new home, she wanted me to sell the old one. I said no, that this home was something my late wife and I purchased with the hope of one day passing on to our son. I would make it a rental property instead. That was one of the biggest fights we ever had. She insisted we compromise, but I refused to do so. When my son graduated from college, I put his name on the deed to the house with mine, which was another fight. But I felt he was the appropriate inheritor to his mother's share. I didn't share any of the rental income with him, though, as I was still paying all the taxes and insurance. At this point, the mortgage is paid off. I net over $2,000 a month from this house, which goes into the household budget. My son just got engaged and wants to move into the house after he marries his fiancée. He suggested he pay half rent and eventually buy out my share of the house. I told my son I agreed to his plan of saving up to buy out my share, but instead of paying rent, he should just take over the taxes and insurance. We agreed to this. My wife is livid and says I'm a massive a-hole for dramatically decreasing our household income without consulting her. She likened my decision to financial abuse. I suggested we downsize to a smaller house now that our oldest 2 kids are leaving the nest, and we can rent out the larger one and be in the same situation as before, owning 2 homes and getting rental income from one. She called me a selfish prick and won't speak to me now. Am I the a-hole? NTA, your son's name is on the title. You have zero right to charge him any form of rent. He is an equal owner to you at this point. His paying the taxes and insurance is reasonable since he is using the home as primary residence, but he is an equal owner and thus has equal right to use of the property. Frankly, he should have been getting half of the rental income as soon as his name was on the property. Payment for you denying him use of what was now joint property. But what's done is done. Your wife is mad because the household is losing the rental income. But honestly, tough shit. It sure as hell isn't financial abuse, and I suspect she's just angry because you dared to give a shit about your son when he's not one of her children. NTA, your wife is. She's trying to seize property from your son even though he is the rightful inheritor. She wouldn't do this if it were her biological child. Needless to say, your wife just doesn't care for him. Also, you clearly stated that you already own a large house, and since your kids are moving out, you can move and rent out that house, which will probably bring in more profit. You're being reasonable while she is acting selfish. Next story. I'm from the southern US, getting married, so basically all of my sisters and cousins are my bridesmaids. Before asking, one sister in particular is to be a bridesmaid. I explained that although I love her dearly, my wedding isn't the place to show off her tattoo and to please have it covered. She went on to say, would I be asking the other bridesmaids or even the groomsmen if they were going to cover up their tattoos? I said probably not because none of them had a naked woman, nipples and a coochie slit visible, about the size of their hand. She said, well, then she won't be a bridesmaid. I said, that's fine, and I understand, but she won't be at the wedding, period, if she doesn't cover it up. If anyone has anything crude or explicit at the wedding, they will be asked to leave. There will be children in attendance and people me and my fiance work with. We're getting married in October. By no means will she be in the sweltering heat. The bridesmaids' dresses also ensure that it would be mostly covered to an extent, but you would still see the bottom half of the very bare naked lady. She's not backing down, and I've asked the wife, Paige, of a groomswoman to just please be on standby if she can, and can just escort her down the aisle. Edit. The tattoo isn't just a naked lady like Venus de Milo. It is a naked woman on her knees and legs spread. I offered that she could wear a suit like one of the groomswomen is wearing. My sister uses she, they pronouns and will sometimes dress more masculine. Finally, she asked to be a bridesmaid. I gave her the option of backing out and it wouldn't hurt my feelings, and she agreed. NTA. She's welcome to the wedding if she covers up her naked lady tat. I love tattoos. I think they're beautiful art. But if you have a full-on naked woman, you have to understand that when children are present, this is just not acceptable. Not that there is anything wrong with a woman's body, but if you're uncomfortable, then you're uncomfortable. Truly astonishing the number of people thinking A, children won't notice, and B, that childcare is her profession and her clients will be there, and C, it's the South, where manners on being ladylike and gentlemanly are especially strict, and D, why, after hiding this explicit tattoo for years, does she need to showcase at OP's wedding, which is 100% not about her? OP's friends would understand, but her clients and their children aren't friends. An extended family may spend the whole time being scandalized at this huge wedding faux pas, if not the actual tattoo itself. It causes a huge stink when a guest wears white to a wedding. This is similarly disrespectful. Next story. I'm 21, male. Last week, my younger cousin, 21, male, passed away unexpectedly. It came as a huge shock and has taken a massive toll on my family. In the meantime, I have been there for my family and other younger cousins to support them. I thought I was doing okay and shielded myself and others thinking my emotions were in check, though I've come to realize I'm not fine at all. I feel utterly sad, lonely, and anxious. These feelings are exacerbated when I'm alone. My partner, 26, female, socializes every Monday and Tuesday night and all day Saturday. For context, she has a real sense of community through this and a great group of friends. This is something she has lacked before and gets a real mental health boost from this. I love seeing her happy. So I mentioned to her yesterday that I was struggling and that being alone made it worse. I asked if she would stay in the house to be with me yesterday night and tonight. She agreed to yesterday but not tonight. She cited her need to look after her own mental health. She has suggested I speak to my family or friends. The truth is, I don't want to burden my family who are hurting, and I don't have any friends who I'd feel comfortable being vulnerable with. So she offered alternative solutions, but I find the most comfort in her. Why I'm upset about this is because I've supported her in the past and been her rock in times of need. Yet in my time of need, I am not seemingly a priority. Today, I've communicated with her as if everything's cool and okay, but really? I'm disappointed and feel this isn't how to treat a partner of 6 years going through a tough period. Reddit, AITA, I see her perspective and that she has provided alternative solutions, but my head's too foggy to think clearly. Opinion 1. NTA, I understand her need to look after her own mental health, and I firmly believe in the a girlfriend is not a pacifier principle. But you're not in a normal situation, and you're not asking her to do this as a regular thing. You've lost somebody important to you, and you're asking for a couple of days. That's well within reason, and I think she should be supporting you that far, unless there's an important factor we aren't hearing or something. Stay tuned for more stories from our girl relationships.